I cannot be on time to save my life for anything, can I? I guess it's just a minute, but I'm still just... Miss May's so punctual, and here I am. Good morning, good morning, good afternoon. What time is it? It's 10 for me. Yeah, afternoon. Where are we at? I've already got people here? Wow, wow. Hey, Doji. Person here? It's more than before. Thank you much. You misspelled hello as help. It's 1 minute, it's fine. I know it's fine, but... how's it going? How is... Oof, let me see if I can fix this just a little bit. Pardon the wiggling. What heavens, and logistics happening with the handle. Good morning, good afternoon. I don't think anybody who will be here is in the evening just yet, so... If they are, they can have a good evening too. The mic is closer. How does this sound? How do I sound? Obviously, it's picking me up, so that's good. I slept through 5 hours of this. Whoops. I'm sure that's happened. I'm sure that's happened multiple times. I can't imagine that's not a frequent occurrence. I have been, while we wait on people, I have been working on my little painting for my opening piece. I've filled in some of the tile work. I need to... Oh, it sounds good now? That's exciting. I have no idea what I sounded like before. Miss May was like, it's really stressful to go back and hear how bad I sound, and I said, well, the answer to that is simply do not go back and re-listen. A lot of moving parts around this. I've often, recently, not often, but like a few times recently, I've been wondering like, oh, I wonder what it must be like to act surrounded by cameras and people doing things and such, and I'm starting to think I'm getting an idea of it. Between the microphone, 2 webcams, a ring light. Trying to build your bookshelf for the past 4 or 5 days. Things just keep coming up. Well, that's not bad. It's a lot of 3s. So this week is a doozy, so I will wait and see if we get anybody else first. Just a few more minutes, but I'm happy to just hang out and chat about bookshelves. Lack of hammer. Oh right, you were talking about that. Did you finally get your hammer in the mail then? Your mail ordered hammer when you live half a mile away from a giant mall? That's insane. You'll have to send me a link to that mall so I can see what they do have and see how it makes sense. No questions answered, but it's this one. Questions answered. There we go. Got it. Got the mail hammer. It's exceedingly funny that I consistently cannot find the things I need around here. Yeah. Yep. Well, once you get settled and you start looking for the other miscellaneous things, maybe then you'll have more luck? I don't know. I can hope for your sake at any rate, right? Like, at this point, yeah, it is very funny that you live by such a giant place and it does not have basic necessities like a hammer or decent curtains. And just keep a running log of all of the things that you go to the mall for and cannot find. Big stores have a monopoly on hammers. So is it like your mall? Is it just the mall building itself? Like, is it all contained in one building? Because a lot of the times, at least where I've been before, malls have like the big mall building and then a bunch of little stuff around it. And I would expect that maybe one of the little stores around the bigger mall might have a hammer, but what do I know? Does that make sense? I hope it does. Now what the mall could do is start offering like mall branded hammers, and that would be extremely funny too. Mall branded hardware. Oh my god. I think we just got our hammer at the grocery store. When I had to buy one when we moved down here, I think we just got it at the grocery store. Mostly restaurants and clothing. Yeah, that makes sense. I was hoping there might be at least one sensible hardware store. Unhinged. Absolutely. No, I could light the little candle if I know what the... Nah, that's alright. Is the location doing you better than where you were before, though? I heard it through the grapevine that you kind of were living in the middle of nowhere. Getting around, getting out more, doing better. Go to Home Depot to get one, but that is very... yeah. That's what I was thinking, was there might be like some kind of Home Depot somewhere nearby, but if there's not, way better than anything. Great. I don't know, my block, so the stores here, there's no like big conglomerates in the sense, like they have a few grocery chains and stuff where you see repeats and stuff, but I haven't seen any like huge conglomerates in the city of like a Lowe's or a Home Depot or anything like that, right? And so it's all like just these little bitty mom and pop shops, which is really cool. But after a certain point, it gets kind of excessive, like, and I mean that affectionately, right? But like, we have, I want to say like 3 hardware stores within like a 2-block radius of us, and it's a little bit unhinged. Get to see ducks as well. One of my friends pointed out that I do tend to go places nearby. Yes, yes, I also. Yes. I also gravitate towards large bodies of water. We are currently 2 blocks from the beach, and we were even just humoring the idea of moving somewhere even just marginally further inland, and I was like, it's too far from the beach. And Miss May had to be like, it's 15 minutes. Too far from the beach. Full stop. Can't do it. I also like the big bodies of water. Usually the lack of small stores means there's one huge... yeah, there's one huge hiding somewhere, maybe, I don't know. But the three tiny hardware stores are all within like a 3-block radius of me are very funny. It's one district that has a lot of huge hardware stores, but that's kind of it. Ah, okay. The building neighborhood. Good afternoon, Sin. How has your day been? How are things? I left the little slice of cake that Miss May had from her Valentine's Day extravaganza. I was thinking about adding more, but that is above my pay grade currently, so it's a little bit intimidating. But I was going to make a stress eating joke for this up and coming week. And after the day that I had yesterday. Oh boy. You don't know, you just woke up. Great. Great. Cool. Then we're in this part together. And that makes me happy. But when I work with folks from other parts of the world, when we lived on the West Coast, I had some coworkers in India, and they were basically about the full 12 hours apart. How are you helping? Oh, I'm getting help with fruit. Stress eating.
Stress eating. We love it.
We don't.
Okay, so just scroll through. See if you see something you want to stress eat, you click on it.
Okay. I could get a Beppis.
You could get Beppis.
Dr.
Get a
7.
Creature.
Soda Cola. We'll do this.
Okay. And then unclick pin.
Unclick pin. Okay.
Okay. And use the scroll wheel to make it smaller.
Oh, it's so big.
And then you drag and click. You drag. They won't be able to see past that side of the coffee cup though.
They won't see past that side of the coffee cup? Okay, well, we're gonna put this here. I don't think I want this big fruity parfait.
Okay.
This cake is great.
This cake is exactly what you needed.
This cake is good. We're stress eating, guys. Hang on. Give me just a minute. I'll come back. Where's the list?
The 1 star?
The 1 star. Okay. We're learning. I'm learning technology. Me. Wow.
Lynn can do it. Lynn can do technology.
Oh man, they got a blood drink.
Yeah, I got that specifically for Halloween.
Let's see. We got the Black Forest cake already. Just 2 pieces of cake. Don't worry about it.
Sometimes you need that.
Dancing pudding. Couldn't eat that though. Singular egg.
1 fried egg. You can order that from most restaurants here.
You sure can.
You want some melon in your mouth?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Hang on, guys. I'm scrolling through a list. I can't see the chat right now. Give me just a minute. No rats. Absolutely not. Unforgivable. Love rats only. No rats in this economy. Ain't got no, like, savories.
No, I haven't downloaded any of those.
Pizzas. Hamburger.
No.
No.
I can do that for you later.
Later? That's fine. I can add a soda and just move the cake over a little bit more. There we go. Yeah, this is fine. This is good.
You got good grip on
spread.
what you needed? Good spread?
Good spread.
There you go. You're welcome.
Yeah, let me make it a little more visible. My nice little... Let's see where we're at. There we go. Yeah, now you can see it all. Neighborhood called Metallurgy because there's a lot of factories. That's really cool. Neighborhood called Metallurgy. Okay, what was I talking about? I don't remember. Where am I? What am I doing? Oh, time zones. Yeah, so we'll be in this together. What I liked to do though when I work with people that are like really far out in time zones, like how is my day going to go? How has your day been? What can I expect? Anyway. Alright. At least got the 2 mains so we can get rolling. We have a lot. First of all, I wanted to ask, like, I know a little bit, like, of how folks' Valentine's Days went, but, like, how are you feeling? How is everybody feeling, like, emotionally? Because I found something, yesterday, after I basically had just, like, an emotional crash out, that made a lot of sense. So just blind check, how's everybody feeling after yesterday? Like, was there anything big that was felt yesterday? It doesn't have to be about romance. Mine wasn't about romance, for example. But I'm just want to see. Like, were you feeling good? Was it heavy? What was going on? Because I was a hot mess yesterday, and I'm realizing that there might have been a reason for it, so I'm very curious. Realized yesterday that this is the first time that I'm living by myself 100% without roommates, so I guess I need to figure that one out. Yeah. That... Is it a bad feeling? I think it could be heavy. Like, it doesn't have to be a bad feeling, right? But I feel like that could be like a big, sudden epiphany on responsibility, right? You are responsible for yourself now. Completely. My advice to you would be to come up with a backup plan for when you're sick. I love living alone. The worst part, though, is when I have a cold and there is no one to help me get soup or medicine as needed, so come up with an idea ahead of time instead of sitting sad in the hot shower crying because you can't get out of the house but you need stuff. Don't be like me back in my study abroad. Don't do that. Have a plan. Because I, yesterday, just crashed out, and like, it was regarding things with my work and upcoming goals and stuff, and it's stuff that I needed to sit down and like really process for a while that I just haven't really had a chance to. And I know that, right? Like, I knew I needed to sit there and process it, but I didn't realize like how much processing there was to be done, because I will compartmentalize every single thing until it is in a box inside of a box inside of a box. And then, per Yzma in Impersonal Groove, I mail that box to myself and I smash it with a hammer. Right? Like, I do not like to process emotions. Yesterday was meh, but I saw some things a bit clearer, not in a good way. Yep. Okay. So, I found out yesterday on one of the astrologers that I follow, that sometimes when Saturn shifts from one sign into the other, like he just did, with that can come like a lot of like the big outer planets. Sometimes when these guys shift, you really feel it. And with Saturn especially, like it's been like a 2.5-year journey. Saturn's a lot more in the weeds than a lot of the other outer planets, right? It does feel like it spiked my depression quite a bit. Exactly. So when Saturn apparently leaves one sign to go into another, that can stir up a lot of like emotions that maybe you needed to work on processing. I know, like I said yesterday for me, and it was relevant too because my 10th house is in Pisces. Pisces is like career and what people see on the outside and what you do and stuff, and Saturn is going from my 10th house into my 11th house, which is like legacy and the LinkedIn page of the zodiac, as Sin calls it. So that's like legacy, community, things like that. And that was me yesterday, just sitting in all of that and having a nice big meltdown that I needed to have very badly, but did not necessarily want to have on Valentine's Day. So the astrologer that I was watching said that that's really normal. And that kind of helped, but like it's like a waving goodbye to an era while crying, basically, right? So, what was it that I wrote? Yeah, I wrote, apparently when Saturn shifts signs, she can stir up emotions related to whatever it was that she was tearing up and or going into. So like, 10th house for me, career, 11th house. Like she's going from the 10th house into from Pisces into Aries. Like wherever Pisces is, she is leaving it. You are processing the last 2.5 years suddenly, 2.5 to 3 years suddenly. And that can cause a lot of grief. And I thought that was interesting and very badly timed. She left Pisces on Friday, and then yesterday was Valentine's Day, and that is not really the best time to be sitting on the couch crying, but here we are. I kind of expect the rest of the front half of this week to kind of still be tapping into that. This is one of the one of the weeks in the 2026 astrological year. This is the print off for the eclipse that will be happening here. This marks the new moon, that is the Chinese Lunar New Year. And we have a new moon solar eclipse at the nth degrees of Aquarius. And it is a solar eclipse making a ring of fire halo down in Antarctica. There was a lot of symbolism going on there. We can talk about it in a little bit. But anyway, so I just kind of expect that just heavy, you know what you need to do, you know you have things to let go of, you may be letting go of it. You may not be, but like there's a good chance that you might be letting go of things that need to be let go of, and you might be a little bit sad about it. So that's kind of what the front half of this week felt like when I was doing all of my notes. So today, what did I have? It wasn't like anything huge. The moon does her moon things, like she always does. She's going to go conjunct to Pluto for a short while today in Aquarius. So right now she's not here, she's up here. This is in a couple of days. She's up here, she's gonna go conjunct Aquarius. The moon moves quick, remember, so don't panic, it won't last, but like just the moon is your emotional self, and Pluto is just the I will raise things to the ground and make you deal with it, basically, you know, like it's very much a death and rebirth, Phoenix kind of vibe from Pluto. So with the moon doing that, that could be more heavy. Very letting go kind of day. Yep. Yesterday, today, a little bit more tomorrow. Very let go kind of feeling. Like this is not working, this is not happening. I need to, even if I can't let go of it right now, I need to work on working towards letting it go, right? So that's kind of the vibe for the front half. Today we have that going conjunct Pluto, but that was really the only thing that I saw worth noting immediately on the calendar. So basically my advice for today was maybe take a nap. Maybe do something fun or take a nap. Just to kind of let go and distract or prepare or do something to raise up your serotonin levels and dopamine levels before things get real. I don't know, but just after yesterday and looking at the week ahead, I was like, maybe we'll just take a nap. What if we just make Sunday nap day? And that was my thought. Monday, a couple of things. Let me see what we have here. Let me bold it to make sure I can read it. So a few things to note. We have one thing, Mercury is trining Jupiter in retrograde right here. Let's see, where's our boy? Our boy is right here. Our Mercury is here. He is trining Jupiter down here. Jupiter is still in retrograde. Mercury is in Pisces. Has been, we have this, so Mercury trine Jupiter from the 13th through the 20th. So he has been trining Jupiter for a couple of days now and will continue to do so. I think I made a note of it last week, but just in case we want to revisit it, I don't remember if I did go into it very deeply because we were talking mostly about Saturn going into Aries on Thursday, Friday. But this is kind of a nice trine. I feel like it'll help like get a bit of a grip on things with everything getting upheaved with this eclipse happening. It's good for, so Jupiter in Cancer, expansion. In retrograde, it's like inward expansion, not necessarily like outward abundance, but like inward growth. Have I talked about Capricorn yet in specific? Capricorn's all alone right now. Capricorn was back in December. January. Right now I'm talking about everybody kind of as a whole. So this is just kind of like the vibe for the general vibe for the next week, right? Mm-hmm.
We're getting follow-up questions on like what is Saturn affecting Pisces about?
What is that? Are we getting follow-up questions?
Like I'm just on the side.
Oh, okay. Let me turn this over to the live chat. Saturn doing what in Pisces?
No, it's just...
Okay. So, yes. So general vibes. Is a big week. We have the Lunar New Year. We have a big solar eclipse. I would be remiss to mention Carnival and Mardi Gras as the nice reprieves around it, just because they're my favorite holiday. So by God, I'm going to have a good time anyway. Letting things go be damned, right? But, where am I and what am I doing? Okay, Mercury trining Jupiter. So Mercury moves pretty quick, but it's still kind of slow since we're slowing down and getting ready to go retrograde. Jupiter is a slow-moving planet, so this will last a few days. It started on Friday, the day that Saturn went into Aries, and will last until about the 20th, the day that these two go conjunct. And I'm seeing this as kind of like an emotional carnival. I know, I can say both of them. I'm fine with saying both of them. No, I do want to go to a big carnival thing at some point. Like, and when I say big carnival, I mean like the stereotypical like Rio or Venice or something like that. I huge fan of Fat Tuesday and Carnival. It's my favorite. Hedonism, the holiday, like what's not to love. So at this point, I'm kind of seeing these two as a bit of a emotional tether. Mercury is in Pisces, which he does not necessarily thrive in Pisces, but it's a very poetic, feel your feelings kind of feeling. So Mercury usually does like logic and communication and rationale and stuff, but Pisces is a very intuitive, wet, Neptune-ruled, poetic, flowery, illusory, dreamy kind of feeling. So these two don't inherently agree all of the time, but Mercury is the closest thing to a neutral planet. The closest thing to a neutral planet that there is in astrology, so like mostly he just serves as the way that I the way that I remember that tickled me to death was that he is the MSG of the astrology, or of the zodiac. So Mercury in Pisces, yes, he wants to be rational, yes, he wants logic, yes, he wants reason and planning and stuff like that, but in Pisces, that's okay, you can get a little bit flowery. You can't put everything into like concrete words or like it's okay to rely on poetry sometimes, right? It's a very dreamy kind of cycle. It might be a little bit, I think I called it like the ADHD, Mercury in Pisces, like an ADHD kind of feeling. A little bit foggy, a little bit jumpy. But if you can find what it is that you need to focus on, you should be good to go. And it should be creative, it should be expressive. Jupiter's still in Cancer, in retrograde, so that's inward expansion, not outward growth. But like, so I'm seeing these kinds of things playing together as like I said, the emotional tether around all of the things happening this week. Longest one that should count as big. No, it does count. It counts. It definitely counts. Fat Tuesday wasn't that fat for me this year. That's this Tuesday. It's Tuesday, the 17th. Fat Tuesday is the 17th. You heard it here first, folks. We're having Carnival as a little treat for surviving the lunar eclipse, or the solar eclipse. So, emotional tether. We'll write that down so I don't forget. Emotional tether. Got it. So, it's good for judgment. It's good for seeing the whole forest instead of just focusing on a few trees. We've got expansion and feeling. It's good for just general optimism and interest in giving and receiving knowledge. It's good for intuition and emotion. If you have any deep conversations with people, you can expect that they will be supportive, that they will be healing, that they will be, there's a good chance that they could be emotionally validating. I know that the big collapse that I had yesterday, I needed to have it, and the conversations that I had around it did make me feel a little more emotionally validated. Let's see. You can, like, it was a good day for like, or it's a good time for that growth that we're about to hit. We're about to realize the things that we need to let go of, right? And so this is a good time to help you process that too, right? Like with like grieving, yes. Clinging onto something that no longer serves to you, no. This should help you process and understand what it is that you need to let go of, right? So that's a good thing to know. It's good for communication, writing, maybe some therapy if you have a therapist, if you do therapy, good for introspection, things like that. If you are intuitive or psychic, I hear tell that it could be a good time for that too. Good for magic rituals, things of that nature. So that is at present going on until Friday. Now on Monday, so that Tuesday was this week. Ah, the whole week, huh? God, everywhere else does Carnival and Mardi Gras right. I grew up in the US and like, I love New Orleans' Mardi Gras and that season and stuff, but I never got to like, I lived just far away enough from it to just really appreciate and know a lot about it and not really get to experience it too much. And then the rest of the US really doesn't do much with it because Protestant, not Catholic, right? So, yeah, hedonism the holiday, but everywhere else is like, oh, it's a week, or oh, it's 2 months, or oh, it's this, or, you know, or it's huge. And I'm just like, wow, I really missed out growing up. So, emotional processing on Monday, and then this will last a few days too. We have this little sun guy here. It's gonna be squaring Neptune. That is when they make a 90-degree angle on the chart, and that is where you get a bit of a 12-2. Oh, really? Huh. I wonder why that is. Interesting. I'll have to look up like calendar reason for that. It's a little bit off. Like, not off, like obviously you celebrate it and I'm not arguing with you. I'm just like, that's strange. And I'll have to look up why. Anyway. Not strange either, that's not the right word. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. It's interesting. And I'd like to know the reason, but we're serious about it. That's good. Be serious about hedonism.
Get serious.
Get serious about hedonism. Monday, the sun is squaring Uranus. This will last for a day or two because Mercury, or the sun, is not moving terribly quickly. Like it is, but like not like the moon. The moon be going places. The sun, he gets there. Now, Uranus has been in Taurus since 2018. I'll say until 26. So for the last 7.5 years, he's been in Taurus. And so every time the sun goes into Aquarius, for the last 7.5 years, they have been making a square. Aquarius angrily playing kazoo.
What?
Angrily eating an entire king cake. Don't tempt me. Got it. So this is going to be the last square off between the sun and Uranus and Taurus. The next time that they square off like this, the Uranus will be in Gemini, and that will open up a new onslaught of things. But Aquarius is the, what did I write down here? The symbol of the collective mind, of technology, of I call it affectionately the social justice warrior of the zodiac. Like, it is about what you can do for people, not what people can do for you. And Taurus is stability and material gain and individual, like, just creature comforts, right? So when these two have been squaring off over the last however many years, it's been shaking up things like, what should you let go of? What does the greater good need to, you know, that kind of, the last Thursday before Lent in the Christian calendar. Okay. Okay. Cool. I'll have to look at that more. Let's see. So, what did I write? This is the last one for a long time. It'll be, since it's the last one, we have these things. We have the sun at 28 degrees. There are 30 full degrees in each sign. We have Uranus at 27 degrees. We have the sun at 28 degrees. So these are at like the tail ends here. These are at the critical ending points where you're going to want to start tying up loose ends, right? So when a planet feels its worst is when it is fresh in a sign or when it is about to leave in a sign. So Saturn, we will be feeling Saturn and Neptune for a while until they get to probably about 4 or 5 degrees, and then we'll find the routine, we'll find the rhythm, and then we'll feel them both again at about 25 to 30 degrees when they're starting to be like, oh crap, we're running out of time and we have to finish what we started. So yes. And like Fat Tuesday and Ash Wednesday are always a different day every year. Thursday is an interesting yeah. I love tradition. I'll have to look into that some more. But anyway, so yeah, these two are like, these are at the tail ends of each of their signs. This is the last time they're going to be meeting up here for a very long time. You might be feeling a little bit restless with it. My notes say be restless, but try not to revolt. This is shining a light on all of these creature comforts. Uranus is the disruptor, right? Uranus likes to flip tables. Uranus loves to flip tables, but the thing with Uranus is you will always know what tables he's about to flip because they will be shaking a while beforehand, right? So, with this, you might be feeling a culmination and a bit of an awakening, like between this like ongoing like 7-year battle we've had between stability and change, right? And wherever Aquarius and Taurus is in your chart, it is in your chart. If you have any planets, you might have planets there. Well, you do have planets, so you might have some planets there, but it will definitely be in your chart regardless. So we may be feeling like we're tying up some loose ends relevant to these parts. So with this, with all of this happening, we've got this lunar eclipse, we've got Uranus squaring off and everything. Big change. Get ready to reform what needs reforming with the new moon on Tuesday. And there might be a lot, right? Like there's no argument, there might be a lot, but be careful not to destabilize everything. I wrote in my notes that there is a difference between pulling all of your books off a bookshelf to reorganize it and pulling the books out and lighting it on fire, right? So you might want to flip this whole table up related to stability and finances and abundance and what have you in the Taurus area of your chart. But be methodical about it, right? Like, you can pull all the books out of the bookshelf onto a pile, but then put them back on the bookshelf in the way that they need to go, right? Or if you need to, give a few of them away, right? Don't just light the books on fire, even though, like, Aquarius and all of his collective, the upheaval, the greater good, and Uranus, you know, they might be saying, light them on fire. Just be careful not to do that. But it's a good time for reorganizing, restructuring, and, like, having little realizations about the collective versus the self, with the Taurus and the Aquarius kind of feelings, and what needs to change in those areas of your chart, right? So if we're doing another example, Taurus is in my 12th house, Aquarius is my 9th, so philosophy, travel, higher learning versus the shadowier side of me, I guess, and the things that I want based around the darker parts of me, I guess we could say. So that is happening Monday, kind of going into Tuesday. It's going to be scoring off for a couple of days here, right? So this is the 17th. We'll feel this exact tomorrow, but we'll still be feeling it a little bit because they're only one number off, right? So we'll still be feeling a light square Tuesday, maybe a little bit into Wednesday. My notes for what's happening on Tuesday is everything. So this is what I printed this day off. This is what's going on the day of. This is about, I want to say like 11:30 Greenwich time, so minus 0 degrees or 0 hours or whatever, just whatever it is on the meridian. Anyway, we have this bad boy, this bad boy happening at the tail end of Aquarius, squaring off Uranus, and just generally causing havoc. This is the Lunar New Year. This is the year of the fire horse that everybody keeps telling you about. This is potentially why the last couple of months have been like pulling teeth. We are coming out of said wood snake where we are shedding and letting go of things, the year 9 in the numerology, the finishing piece, before finally rolling into a year 1. The fire horse, a go get 'em tiger, a big push, a big just go. That's what all signs are pointing to right now, is figure out what you need to do and go do it, right? Now, this is the initiation point into that. Now the actual solar eclipse, it is on a new moon, but the actual solar eclipse itself is over Antarctica. So there will be a few outposts and some penguins that can see it. But it is making a ring of fire, which is like a little halo. We have the sun and the moon. We'll be doing this, but oops, we're gonna have little peaks of the sun around it. A little halo. Yay. Those are wings. We'll go with that. There was a lot of symbolism that you could find with it. There was that Antarctica's so isolated with the penguins and the just go. Yes! So we're gonna elaborate on that just a little bit more here in a bit, but with the Antarctica location, I was looking at it like, oh, that's kind of symbolic. Like, this might be like reaching down into the deepest parts of you, right? Like, places that only a few people really know, right? Other than you, right? This change might be reaching down that far inside, right? Like, with that kind of suggestion, that kind of location. We have the sacred symbol of the halo. And then, again, Aquarius is the collective and technology and everything. So the crux of this solar eclipse by itself, kind of decontextualized, is like, and it's at these tail end degrees of Aquarius, is that maybe you're not the center of everything, but you are looking for your part to play in the wider system, right? There's a lot of that kind of motif, this entire Aquarius system, or the Aquarius system, this kind of Aquarius season with all of the personal planets going conjunct Pluto and going over everything. There's been like a deep scrub of the personal self. There's been a deep scrub and like a lot of revelations, and this is kind of one of the culmination points of that, right? So the eclipse is on a new moon, which is not about emotions inherently. It is about resetting your direction. I wrote, it's only visible in Antarctica, but it should be felt. Everyone will feel it to some extent. But with it being where it is on the chart, right here at the tail end of Aquarius going into Pisces, people with any placements in these degrees in particular, right here. So that's the last 5 degrees of Aquarius and the first 5 degrees of Pisces. People with anything in this kind of window, in the mutable and the fixed. Let me see. Is it mutable and fixed? Yeah. So anything in these mutable and fixed windows, right? You should be feeling it. Mutable, fixed, start, mutable. Yeah. So right here, if you have personal placements in these little windows right that I circled, it will be hitting you the hardest. It will also be hitting you if you have any major placements in Leo, as he is ruled by the sun, or in Cancer, as she is ruled by the moon. They're called the luminaries because their signs are ruled by light givers, like big, important light givers, not just stars, I guess. So those are the ones that are going to be the most impacted, but everybody's going to feel it, right? I wrote from a quote, or I quoted from something that I read, some endings aren't losses, they're revelations. And I say you may have been feeling things creeping up on you, or you may be about to be hit with an epiphany, right? Like for me personally, I felt something coming, I've seen something coming for a few weeks now. For a few months, honestly. The last retrograde with Saturn, and then ever since then and going into now, I have seen writing on the wall for a few different things, and it just keeps coming. So like, you can have like the slow and steady train wreck that you're watching, or you could just wake up and have an epiphany. Like, but it seems like there's not really much of an in-between. But however it is, it's about time to let go of something and move on. There is some things that you might be carrying that you can't really carry anymore. Your future self does not need that anymore. It's time to let that go and move on. This, I would say, is the final shed of the wood snake that is leading up to the fire horse itself instead of just another snake, right? And you are asking yourself, what can't your future self hold that you need to let go of now? What or who or how have you outgrown things? And where have you hidden yourself? Again, Aquarius, right? We're trying to find our place in things. Where have you hidden yourself so that you can be more palatable to others? Where have you been hiding your light under the proverbial bushel, right? Because it's time for that to change. It's time to find the community and the people that you need to be around. And it's time to find how your true gifts can actually support the greater good instead of what you can do to make yourself more palatable. Does that make sense? I hope it does. So we're sitting there, we're asking ourselves these questions. Some things may have run their course. That's okay. And again, this is the saying goodbye and grieving at the same time. You're waving goodbye and you're crying. It's okay to grieve a little bit more if you need to. But, and I liked this a lot, you are not meant to panic, you are meant to participate. I got that from someone too. Aquarius wants you to figure out where you belong in the grander scheme of things, how you belong to the collective, what your role is. You don't have to know everything right now, like this eclipse. Maybe you don't know what's coming, right? And that's okay. Like, you can either see it coming, you could have an epiphany, or you could just be sitting there going, wow, I feel funny, right? Like, I don't know. Anything like that, right? You don't have to have a plan. You don't have to have, oh, well, this is going to be my step one that I'm going to initiate day of, and then after that I'm going to do this, this, and this. Eclipses love to reroute. Eclipses love to shake things up. Eclipses love to light up a path that you didn't know was there. It loves to knock down a tree on a path that you thought you were going to take that you can't take. They love to reroute. Your job right now is to identify whatever it is that needs to give and start getting ready to implement that change. The sky wants you to see this reroute that it's putting you on, and it wants your honest answer, right? And this, I added a little note here of astrology being a little bit like tarot, right? Like, I call astrology a roadmap. But like Miss May says, this is the future that you are being offered if things do not change right now. If you change it, these answers will change, right? With astrology, it is the same, by and large, the same symbolic roadmap, right? But you get to choose how you interpret this different path that it is offering you, right? And the universe wants your honest response, and you can change it, like, it will change things for you accordingly. This is where free will and fate kind of come and play together, right? Like, these are your options based off of this point in the roadmap. Which option do you choose? If you need to take a turn here, like, if this is illuminating that you need to take a turn here, you take the turn, and then the future will adjust. Now this epiphany might not be hugely explosive, it could just be an honest admission. Like I said, I've been working hard on this honest admission ever since Saturn's last retrograde, so it's not really... As far as I know, unless something else comes at me again, like, I know what this is about for me personally. And it's just admitting to myself that this is what is going to give, right? Like, this has got to give. I cannot do XYZ anymore the way that I have. This is what I need to let go of. This is who I need to let go of. This is how I need to do things differently, right? Let's see. Yeah. This is a mission, not necessarily an explosion. You are planting seeds that you can no longer avoid planting. These will bloom later. This is more of the opening act for the upcoming, like, nodal. So the North Node and the South Nodes are going to be shifting from Pisces and Virgo into Aquarius and Leo. That happens in July. This is like planting the seeds to get you ready for that, right? You might know what needs to change. Great, start working towards it. You might just have an inkling. Great, start working towards it, right? Oh, it's raining. Okay, so you're not meant to panic, you are meant to participate. So let me know. This is a big one. This is an eclipse, this is the Lunar New Year, this is Mardi Gras, this is Carnival, this is a whole lot going on at once. This is a big... The sun and the moon are squaring off with Aquarius' planetary leader. The sun and the moon do not necessarily rule Taurus, but the moon is particularly friendly in Taurus, I feel like, so it's a square, it can be hard, but you can also work with it and make the best out of a tough situation, right? So this is kind of the opening act for the rest of the year. This is what, if you've been feeling a big hurry up and wait kind of vibe, this is where the curtains part and you can go. Now, we will still have this square happening day of, and then the moon will get involved, and I feel, personally, based off of what I was seeing, I feel like the moon is kind of going to do what this Mercury trine Jupiter is doing, and like kind of give you some emotional balance with it, right? Like, it gives you the capacity to feel however, whatever the changes might affect you and help you make decisions accordingly based on that, right? So I wrote for that with the eclipse, Uranus is the disruptor, Taurus is the sign of stability. It's been squaring the sun already earlier this week, our core, but now the moon, the emotional self, is coming to play. Decisions may be sudden, but use discernment, and the moon should be able to give you that kind of a discernment. The moon is coming to help solve those problems by voicing the emotional truths, right? Like, it can help give you the emotional ability to say, no, this is actually what needs to change, right? Versus, rationally, if I keep doing this, then XYZ will happen, like, I have to keep doing this one thing that I've been doing the same way over and over again, because eventually it'll work, and the moon will go, actually, you know what? Will it work? Or are you just gonna keep, trying this over and over again, and, like, does that feel right to you? So there's gonna be some of that. I wrote here Lunar New Year, also in my notes, a little short blurb. This is the Fire Horse. Everyone right now is saying with this Fire Horse plus everything, all of these are going to work towards shifting towards Aries, so all of these little personal planets will shift into Aries, plus Saturn and Neptune, plus Chiron. Everybody's saying that this is go, go, go. Now, Sin, this is where you remember, a horse can just go, but they also have the world's worst feet, and if they break an ankle, they're screwed, right? So you have to figure out and know when to apply force. You can't just run blindly with everything moving into Aries, right? That's impulse, that's adrenaline and such. But Saturn is here now too to say, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's slow down, right? Let's think about where we are applying that force. Let's make a plan to apply that force steadily and consistently and build it up honestly. Because if you just go, 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 you're going to burn out. You're going to break that proverbial ankle. So, with the Fire Horse, yes, go. But go with a plan, right? Go knowing what steps you need to take, right? So, careful not to break your ankle, basically. We can also have a little Mardi Gras and Carnival as a treat. So, go, just go, but go with discernment. That is what Tuesday is bringing. That is what the rest of the week is bringing. Wednesday is when Pisces season starts. I have to fear the man waiting with the shotgun to put me down. But it's just you. Right? Like, that's the whole thing is, wait, it's me? It always has been. So, like, just be careful, right? Like, don't run with abandon if it is a field that you know, and then take caution when it is not, right? Like, a horse knows when to apply itself, right? So apply that same judgment. Don't be as skittish as a horse is. You know, those things are jumpy, right? But, you know, like, take caution, remember to rest, have people that you can trust so that you can take those little horse naps and then someone else can be watching guard. Just things of that nature. And just, yeah, don't break your ankle. Don't burn yourself out. Wednesday, Pisces season starts. The sun on Wednesday will be moving into Pisces. Hooray. Congratulations, I guess. Pisces is the dreamscape, the illusions, the intuition, the more poetic, dreamier side of the zodiac. I stand before a mirror, I look down, I look up and see a man carrying a weapon. Yeah, so be careful. Or, if it's not you, then the man with the weapon is Saturn, right? So, like, pick who you want in this metaphor, but be careful. Don't break your ankle. However it shapes up, just don't break your ankle. So, Pisces season starts on Wednesday. The moon do be mooning real fast, but the moon will conjunct Venus and Mercury on Wednesday as well. And just with that also being in the start of Pisces season, I thought that was good to note. It sounds honestly like a really pretty day, which we might need after the Lunar New Year. Just dreamy and like a really good day. We have Venus conjuncting the North Node in Pisces on top of that, so she'll be down here. The moon will be crossing over her, the North Node and Mercury all on the same day. With that conjunction here with the North Node and Venus, you can expect maybe some fated encounters to deepen or redirect, which is a good thing to carry off of after the eclipse season. You can have some feelings of deja vu, maybe, if you or like some sudden insight onto whether or not you're on a right path or a wrong path, or if you need to redirect or pivot or however. You may feel called to more especially meaningful connections with people and see love as growth, not comfort. You can look at it as evolution. And you want to look for relationships in general that feel stable. You might, as I said here, you may need the help in staying grounded in all of the fire air that's coming up, right? So, a good day for poetry, a good day for creativity, a good day for writing, a good day for self-expression and emotional processing and having good, deep connections with people. Wednesday. On Thursday, because the moon be going quick, she's gonna go conjunct Neptune and Aries. Not Neptune and Saturn and Aries, there we go. I didn't really have any notes on this, but if we just add emotional themes to what Saturn and Neptune stand for, you can kind of infer, right? I just thought that was worth noting. Friday. These bad boys right here. Friday. That's the day that they go exactly conjunct. It'll be good. It's a lot. It's good. This is why I'm stress eating that cake and I'm just throwing back that soda right now, right? These two are about to be put in their get along shirt. These two have been misbehaving and they're about to be put in their get along shirt and put in timeout. We've talked before at length about Saturn and Neptune. They are the main rivals of the zodiac, right? So they stand for what the other does not, right? So Neptune is dreams and lofty ideals and illusion, and Saturn is time and discipline and structure, right? These two notoriously do not play along the best together. So these two going conjunct can be a lot. They're going conjunct at 0 degrees of Aries. This is the Genesis degree. This is the start of the entire zodiac, right? The last time things went conjunct, or these two went conjunct, was up in Capricorn in 1989, and that was pretty revolutionary in and of itself, right? If we look back at 1999, the one that everybody's bringing up is the fall of the Berlin Wall. But there was a lot of other stuff going on in 1989 too that was pretty revolutionary. And that was just in some random part in the middle of the zodiac. This is the starting degree. This is the very first degree. The last time that this happened, right here, I believe was about 7,000 years ago or something. I don't know. I did some research on when this would have happened. It's not really in recorded history as far as I understand, and or it is when we were shifting from hunter-gatherer to an agrarian society, right? Like, it is a long time since this has happened exactly this way. So, we have the ramp putting these two in their get-along shirt at 0 degrees. It will ultimately be good. I will say that, like, in the end, this will work out, I imagine, pretty beautifully. It does not mean that it will be beautiful at first, especially with all of this upheaval that we've had earlier in Aquarius season. Some of the alignments that are coming up here soon. Like, it will be stressful for a while. I think ultimately it will work out, though. Now, my favorite astrologer basically expects something of a rip in the collective. We have the people who know what they need to be doing and working towards it, and we have the people that are holding themselves back. Right? One group is living the kind of life that they're meant to, and the other is going to end up feeling a little bit stuck since they've been ignoring what they need to do. Now, this goes back to my bar metaphor. We had our last call a while ago, but that does not mean that we can't go home and make our own drink. It just means that if we want to be in the side of this rip where we are doing what we need to do, we might need to go home and make the drink, depending on the time of whenever we're having this idea. It will be harder than just buying a drink from the bar. We will have to either go home and make our drink, or we will have to go to the liquor store, buy the liquor, and then go home and make our drink. Depending on when you have this idea, when you have this revelation, if you have not had it already, if you are not already working towards it, it will be harder to get into this timeline, but it will not be impossible, right? So this is not the last stop or last chance to get on the train. There are always chances to get on the train. It's just that last new moon we had up here was like the last chance to get on the train easy, right? So here we have Neptune has been showing us what we want for the last, 11 years. Neptune has been ahead of Saturn. We know what we want, right? But Saturn now is going to overtake Neptune and go, great, you know what you want, now how are you going to get it, right? So the theme is about to become build or be built over, right? That is, we have build or be built over. These are your two timelines, right? Last time this happened was in 89 in Cap. So these two are both slow movers, but Saturn moves a lot faster than Neptune. Neptune will be here for 14 years. Saturn will be here for 3. So with this conjunct, the fog will start to lift. You may see a path that you did not consider before suddenly light itself up as an opportunity, if not the path that you need to take. Build or be built over, right? The fog will start to lift. Saturn will start to overtake Neptune after this conjunction. It may take a while for that fog to clear. So we can see as Saturn is overtaking Neptune over the next few weeks. We can see where Neptune, like, where we might have been optimistically overlooking things, right? Like, oh, I can make this work. If I just do this, right? Just one random thing, right? We can see where we've been too optimistic, right? Or it'll just work out because it does. Neptune is going to step in or Saturn is going to step in and say, cool, you have this goal, how are you going to do it? And then the Neptune dreamy side is going to be like, and then Saturn is going to sit you in a corner and make you come up with a plan. Let's see what it says. Yeah. Neptune is where we have been optimistically overlooking things. It is where we have been too wishy-washy with our boundaries. Oh, I don't want this to happen because it makes me feel bad. Like, it genuinely hurts me. Oh, I'm going to let it happen because it's this one person. No. This is the, remember what I've been saying, the find your real no. Like, find your hard no. And if it is where you thought it is, great, stand by it. If you need to pull that boundary back a little bit, like move the goalpost a little bit before it is actually an honest offense, like, that's fine too, right? Like, this is just set your actual honest to goodness boundaries. And this may also be, with Neptune ahead, where we dreamt things without any practical application. Again, right? Like, this is the optimistically overlooking things. This is the, oh, it'll work out because I just want it to. This is the things like that. Saturn is going to step in and say, no, it's not just going to happen. You have to make it happen. So how are you going to make it happen? Right? Now, the fog is going to start to lift as Saturn slowly overtakes Neptune. But this may take some time, and it may feel like right now a bit of a trust fall. I tell you what, I am thick in this trust fall right now, and it is not fun. I hate trust falls. Saturn will need some time. The path that you know, that Neptune has told you that you know you need to take, may still be a little bit foggy for a little while longer. You have to Neptune trust that you can go down that path, but you will also have to Saturn build along the way, right? Like, this path is accessible to you. You may have to build yourself a few bridges to get over a few tough spots, right? It will be worth it, but you have to have the practical application for the dream. So, Neptune over the last however many years has helped you figure out what you want. Neptune may have caused you some grief and gotten you confused about what you want, but in the last, since she's been shifting, like, things should have started coming to light, right? Like, I had a pretty, like I said, with Saturn's last retrograde cycle, I had a pretty big epiphany about things. So Neptune figured out how to help you know what you want. You may have had some hazy moments, but it's been a 14-year process, like, so things by now you've had time to reflect and get introspective. She's retrograde for 6 months out of every year, so like there's been some time to go, oh, I think I want this. Actually, no, that won't work for me, right? So you maybe know what you want. You might need a little bit more help, but like you're getting there. And then now Saturn overtaking Neptune is going to be asking, great, so how will you get that? How will you get your dream, right? Saturn rewards discipline and patience. So we work on taking one small step towards whatever that goal is every day, even when you're scared or you're discouraged, and you will get there. Now, Saturn is in fall at Aries, meaning that she is at her weakest point. Now, she doesn't like Pisces, right? I would honestly argue, like, that might be the harder sign since it's ruled by Neptune, and those two don't play very well, and they've been on top of each other this whole time, right? But technically, Saturn in Aries doesn't play nicely. This is impulsivity and drive and action and go, go, go. This is, your fire horse energy, and Saturn is wait, we need to have a plan. We need to work on that plan. We can't overextend ourselves. We have to have structures. We have to have boundaries. We have to lay the foundation before we go, right? This is the apply the fire horse correctly lest you break your ankle. Saturn, but the thing that's been being pointed out to me is that this fall feels pretty easy to work with. Because if Saturn is discipline and endurance and Aries is determination and courage, this is perfectly leverageable, right? This can be doom and gloom if you want to, or it can be, a good thing, right? Like, if you set yourself a goal, if you are determined to make something happen, and you take little steps every day, if you don't just headlong rush into it and burn yourself out, if you take little steps every day, if you have a plan, this should work out over the next 2.5, 3 years. So, what in your charts are Pisces and Aries ruling over. Where is the 0 degree of Aries? Not necessarily what house. We're looking at the Placidus. Placidus? I don't know. I've only read it. If we look at the Placidus chart, which house has the 0 degree Aries? It should probably be, unless you have a, what is that called? The house inside of the trapped signs. Unless you have one of those, it should be normally 0 degrees of Aries is probably going to be in the house before the house that Aries rules. So, like I've been using myself for an example since it's easy to remember. Pisces is my 10th house, Aries is my 11th house. My 0 degrees of Aries, this Genesis point, is still in my 10th house though. Right, so my lines look like something like this. Right. So this is my 10th house. Pisces starts here. Aries starts here, but Aries rules my 11th house. Just that's how that works, right? So this 0 degrees point is still in my 10th house. So this conjunction will bleed over into my 11th house, but I will feel it in my 10th in particular on the 20th, on Friday. So with this part of your chart, what is it that's shifting? Where will you feel this conjunction? Have you been feeling it lately? Because with these two being on top of each other like that, intercepted, thank you, dear. It's like introspective, impacted, incapacitated, I couldn't think of it. So with intercepted, like that line might be in the house that it's supposed to be in, right? So, anyway, find where 0 degrees is. This is where you will feel that conjunction the most. And then gradually it will bleed over into the next house, right? So, is there something in that part of your chart that you want to work towards? Is there something in that part of your chart that at this point is unavoidable? It is either you work towards it or you give up. If you don't burn yourself out, if you don't burn the candle out at both ends, like Aries will want you to, if you just take it one step at a time, even when you're afraid, even when you want to give up, it should pay off, right? You can leverage, like, yes, Saturn is in fall in Aries, but you can leverage this. This is honestly, like, it feels like a pretty good fall. Like, yes, your drive, your ambition might be a little bit inhibited by rules and stuff, but if you use those rules to your advantage, you will get to where you need to go. And I think, personally, that that's really cool. So, those are the big things this week. Saturday, I couldn't find anything in particular. Sunday, next week, we'll talk about it more. Venus will be trine Jupiter in retrograde. It will be Venus's turn to trine. So that should be pretty too, but we'll talk about that more later. Mars will be sextile Chiron. Mars will move forward and get sextile here, which is just the nice, happy, gentle positivity, kind of gentle flow. So, yeah, this is one of the weeks in astrology with the Lunar New Year, with the eclipse, with the conjunction. Collectively, it could be a mess, but do what you can personally and make the best out of the situation, I suppose. I know for me personally, yeah, I've had a lot of career stuff in particular happening, which makes sense given the location of it for me in my chart. But yeah, that conjunction will be felt by everybody, and it will be felt deeply. And then, yeah, the collective will feel it as well. So, that is where that is at for the week. We are not talking about it to be scared of it, we are talking about it to be prepared for it. If stuff hits the fan, then we know to expect it and we can react accordingly. So, that is where that is. This is where my coffee's brewing sign is going. I straightened up some of the lines. I think that looks better. I need to go back and fix some of the painting around it, right? But this was leaned over too far here, and then I had my tile lines a little crooked and stuff, so I've been working on fixing that. So, we'll paint and we'll talk for a little while. How are we feeling? This is a big week. And I don't know about you, but I am already quite tired. What's going on? Any good plans for the week? Like, what are we gonna be doing around all of this mess? Shenanigans? I love some shenanigans. The tiles, thank you! I'm not super pleased with them yet, but I figured I could go through it with a pen and make it a little more coherent. I just looked at the tiles in my kitchen, I'll be honest. I was like, those are fine. Right now I'm just working on some lighting for it. I've done these tiles like 3 times. I am slowly losing my mind. But hopefully it'll be worth it. We finished the album cover last week. Well, I think I finished it mostly, yeah. I finished most of it last week with y'all, and then I did like a couple of little things. I'll post it on my Instagram later. It is for a friend's album, so I'm going to wait until he posts it first, and then I will post it, my picture version of it. But I don't want to ruin the surprise, right? So, it will be coming, but not just yet. Then what else have I got going on right now? I don't really know. I know I need to do some research on how to get people interested in art, because I need to open up for commissions and stuff, but all I ever see is like digital art nowadays. And I know that that's not the case, right? Like, I know other stuff exists still, but I've just been so digital is the only way now forward pill. The only way forward pilled, that I'm just like, I don't think anybody's gonna be interested. And May's been having to be like, no, Rhiannon, they'll be fine. You just have to know how to get your art out there. And I'm like, that sounds awful. What do you mean, exposing myself and being vulnerable? I hate it, thank you. Anybody got any plans for what to do on the... I mean, the solar eclipse really isn't about manifestation exactly. It's more about just kind of like seeing what the universe is offering you and responding, right? But any question about Saturn and Pisces?
Well, for example, I am navigating a huge commission.
Yeah.
And applying to a YouTube group.
Yeah. That's Miss May. I think you showed up on the microwave.
Wow.
Wow. Microphone.
Oh.
Yes. Sometimes being vulnerable is the best way to move forward. Thanks, Doji, I hate it.
Thanks. They need to hear it.
No, I don't. La 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 la. I am a man of steel, I have no weaknesses. Awful. 0 out of 10 vulnerability. Hardly know her. don't want to know her. The fact that I'm letting people see that I draw at all is huge for me. That should be enough. Thank you very much. Horrible. Plasma would be good against steel. I imagine you're correct, but I can't remember what we were talking about to warrant that thought.
You're a man of steel.
I am a man of steel, yes, plasma. Plasma is, awful. No.
Oh, I was thinking blood plasma.
No. Plasma gun. Don't shoot. I'm so tired. Little spoon. So the problem that I have with watercolor is that it's very hard to get something white again after you have de-whited it, which is fine. Like, nothing is perfectly clean like that, right? But I would really like to have it be able to be shiny without me having to accommodate that the entire time while I'm trying to paint something. I will make it work. But golly. Oh, I bonked it. Sorry, guys. Playing right now about a game I don't know how I feel about. Both speaks to about being already alone and needing to live for someone. Trying to determine what the author is trying to say. I feel like two truths can be the same, right? Like, what is it that Miss May has been hitting me with a lot lately is you can't give from an empty cup. Like, you can't be completely alone, but also, like, you can't be the giving tree, or otherwise people will destroy you. And that's been a big lesson of mine for the last 5 or 6 years. You can still be generous without being overgiving. Schrodinger's call. Very funny, it's two truths are the same because that's kind of the theme of the game. Yeah. You have to know when it's too much to give, right? And then also when it's appropriate to give. I feel like, personally. And with a thing like Schrodinger, I would imagine that referencing Schrodinger, that I would imagine that that is kind of probably the point. Holding these two truths. But I stand to be corrected. You'll let me know. I imagine. Just as someone who's had to learn that the hard way. The very hard way. Over the last couple of years of, like, where the line is of being generous and hurting yourself for the sake of others. When you don't need to. I have a few lessons in that lately. We ordered, since you two were on the game stream yesterday, we ordered a capture card, so that should fix the lag. It will take a few weeks to get here. But it's expected sometime in March, so after that, I'm hoping that the going through their feelings and conversations is quite a lot of choices. So basically the same. Yeah. But I feel like once we get the capture card, the live streams of video games should be less painful for Miss May. I'm hoping at any rate. Like the video, please. It helps more than you think. Yep, if you haven't followed yet, please do. The Twitch stream with more pixels. Depending on how things go, I was thinking about commandeering it and maybe starting to play the games that I am good at live. I'm very good at Tetris. I wonder if people would enjoy that. May said that that would be... I could make my own little Twitch channel again. And I tried it once, and I just couldn't keep up with the schedule because we had too much going on. But I'm about to have a lot more free time, so maybe it'll be okay. Did y'all watch me play Tetris? I can do other games too. I can try to play Tetris 99. I like Tetris 99 actually, but I have Tetris Effect on Steam. I like Tetris 99 just fine. I usually put myself in like the top... at least the top 20. It's weird when I get lower than that. So like, I know I'm decent at it, right? But I've been trying to work through Tetris Effect on Expert lately. I've gotten pretty far along. I want to see if I can finish it. I finished normal a while ago. There are a lot of cool Tetris variants. Did either of you have... So my first big console was the Xbox, and with it I got DDR, which helped me proceed to lose 20 pounds out of nowhere because I got so hooked on DDR. God, I missed that game. Anyway, I lost 20 pounds on DDR, but I also got Tetris Worlds. Did either of you have that? Where you're playing as like one of the little square guys and he's got a big eyeball and like basically you're terraforming because the Tetris world as it is falling apart and they have to move. I think about that game a lot. I was thinking about getting an emulator to see if I could actually finish building a world now that I'm grown and have, you know, an adult's cognitive ability for Tetris, instead of just being a child and trying to play. Tetris Effect is really good too. Yeah, I like it a lot. It's really pretty. But Tetris is like the one game that I'm willing to go play online against people about. Because normally I'm like, I'm too shy. I don't want to, I'm bad at this. I don't want to. And I'm like, no, I can hold my own on Tetris. That's fine. I was thinking about, once we get the card, just playing some Tetris, if people might be interested in it. But Maze joked about putting me in professional tournaments for it, but I think the ones that they play is just the original one. And that would be fine, it would just take me a while to get used to the controls. First time I heard about it, it might be really fun. It was a trip. It was Tetris Worlds, and it was very funny. Video Game Donkey made a video about the history of Tetris, and he brought it up, and it just hit me like a freight train, like remembering it. But basically, yeah, your world was dying, and so they were sending out little Tetramino squares that look like here. This isn't going to be part of the picture, so let me just draw you one of these guys. This guy was just your standard little cube friend here, right? So you had your little Tetramino. Wow, Rhiannon, learn how to draw a cube. And then you had a little eye here, and it like did this. You had little eyelashes, and you could design them to be different colors and stuff. But basically this was the gist. This was your little buddy, and he was basically orchestrating. You played Tetris and the world built around it the further in the game you got. And I was 10 or 11, so I couldn't get very far into the game. Like, I did fine until I was no longer doing fine, and I was never able to finish building a world. And I'd like to go back and see if I can finally finish building those worlds for those poor little guys. But they had a lot of like fun themes for each level, like Cascade, or like the water level, you built like a water world basically, right? But then when you hit a Tetris, it would hit a ripple, and that ripple would like shake out any holes that you had built, and you would get extra points for like, as the bricks fell, like the bricks would fall into the holes and you would get more lines, and the longer you could keep that cascade running, they called it a cascade, right? Like a waterfall. As long as you keep that cascade running, it would like stack up points and points and points. And I remember that one being my favorite. There was also one where you could like, it was the lava world or something, and you could like burn different pieces to make the line explode and stuff, and that was where you got the extra points. I have zero clue about it, but it sounds cute. It was a lot. I can post that. I'll send you the link to the video if you want. It's about 8 minutes long, and it's just talking about the history of Tetris, but he does it in the very donkey way, so it's very tongue-in-cheek, kind of goofy. But it was a lot of fun. Very bizarre. And I've only really met like 1 or 2 other people who knew about it. But yeah, I do want to go back and see if I can finally help those little guys finish building their worlds instead of getting it like halfway done and then quitting because I'm 12 and I have no attention span. But I like to play like the little cozy games. Like my favorite game's probably Stardew Valley, or I like to play like the vintage old arcade games like Tetris and Pac-Man and stuff. I also like DDR, but ooh, I'm one that's hard to get my hands on nowadays, and then 2, I am so out of shape. But when maybe this will benefit. I was obsessed with Sims growing up, but I never really played The Sims very much. It always, I don't know. Were you one of the ones that like locked them up in their pool and let them starve? Or did you like actually like give them a life? Family laptop room. I'm so interested to know more. A sick child you were. There we go. That's my answer. I was way too much of a bleeding heart for that kind of thing. Still am. No, I want them to be happy and have a nice life. Be married and have a dog and... We found a design house and they rented that too. Like a dollhouse. Yeah, I could see that. And I would treat it like a dollhouse too, I'm sure. That's why I don't do The Sims, I do Animal Crossing. May got me into Animal Crossing when we got to know each other. And that's basically my dollhouse nowadays, I guess. I had to put it down a little bit after Happy Home Academy came out because I looked down after designing a house and I had lost like 3 hours. I went, where did that go? Where did that time go? Put that game down for a while. When we moved down here, I started playing it in Spanish again, but I've kind of fallen out of it again. Yes, there is the one that did the most damage to my household. Fine. God, what happened? Like, was it just the computers weren't built for it? Or, like, what were you doing? I don't remember which one's supposed to be in the neighborhood photos. What are you doing to destroy these poor laptops? Known to overheat. Ah, okay. It is personally known to overheat laptops, apparently. Bunnies, patch notes. I think I do remember some of them, yes. I think I do. Also, Doji, if I remember your birth chart right, congratulations, you have finished your first Saturn return. I believe your Saturn is in Pisces. Now that I'm thinking about things. TS2 is the one you could make your neighborhood from scratch. Okay. Cleptomatic Sim's gonna look so Yes, I remember those memes. Alright, I'll give me 1 second. I'm gonna be right back. I'm not gonna put up the be right back screen. I'll just kind of zoom into this buddy. Just a little bit. There you go. Hi, Ankita. Welcome in. I'm going to be right back. We were talking about the stars, but I'm going to be right back, so give me like 3 or 4 minutes, and if you have any... Hi! We have tarot on Mondays and on Fridays. I am not the tarot person. That is Miss May. So come in on Monday evening for a tarot question, and we can get it sorted then, or if you need it answered sooner rather than later, if you go towards the pinned comments, there's super chats and tips for the Ko-fi link. There's also a link for commissions where you can book a reading. So, pregnant Sims can no longer brawl. I'll be right back, guys. Okay. Here we go. That sounds kind of wonderful. Oops, bro. There was something about, I saw one about someone being murdered too. Just split it into 2 messages. Let's go. Let's go, Sam. Nothing else is happening. We're just painting. Sims automatically leave if the meteor is approaching, unless it was a school. It sounds like they will always die. Oh no! Horrible. Just horrible. And you know the freaking code writers are just kind of leaning into that. I love that. Be cheeky. Don't know if it's until 2. I've got Sims can automatically leave if a meteor is approaching, unless it is a school in which children are not allowed to leave and will always die. Was there another one? Ah, okay. Child magazine. Translations were so bad it became iconically funny because of that. Now, was it like translated into Romanian, or were you reading just bad English translations? Manual magazine that comes with it. Okay. Second. Okay. Most of the lines did not make sense. Oh, I disappeared for a while. Huh. Interesting. Sorry. I had someone asking me a question on the side, so I wanted to answer them real quick. About whether they could ask specific questions about what I meant by the stars and stuff about their own chart. Which is fine. I'm happy to answer those as long as we have the bandwidth with which to do so. Romanian didn't make sense of herself with the wrong intonation. So, like, were the Romanians just bad actors, or were they other people who didn't speak Romanian just doing their best? Just for this cheap and low quality. Ah, okay. Two roasters complimenting a mole, which the mole goes like, alright, I guess we are weak, which just meant they was delivered so fast. What does that mean? Little, big. It is a horse. It likes to destroy things. God, that's perfect for a Year of the Fire horse. I'm gonna write that down. Gonna write this one down. It is a horse. It likes to destroy things. Fitting for this year's sin. Yep, great minds think alike. It is a horse. It likes to destroy things. 2026. Fire horse. Yep, I need to write that down somewhere where I won't lose it. That's for this year. This little guy, let's color him in. I'm gonna color him in real quick. We're gonna take a Tetramino guy break. This little guy, you had like your border color, and then there was like an inner color you could pick. Just this little guy. Guy. What color on the inside do we want to give him? My little Tetris man here. My little Tetris World's fan art. What color are we feeling for the inside squares? This was an option, you could customize like the colors on them. I think they had different eye types too, but I feel like this was the one that I always picked. On the daily, I'm so bad. Merch of the guy that they could repair the stable. It's a horse that likes to destroy things. Taking a guy break. Yeah, guy break. While he dries, you gotta think of a color to make him on the inside, though. I'll march with the guys. Yeah. For that run, he's a demon that only harms fences. That's another line for the seer. Great. Love this. Just keep them coming. Let's just keep talking about bad horse quotes. It's inspiring, to be honest. It's true. I want to be a demon that only harms fences. Quite a bunch of random horse facts. Well, it's time. It's time for the horse facts. I used to want a horse when I was little, but my parents never let me, which is probably for the better. But I had a friend who was a horse girl, and so I'd ride her horses and be like, I want my own. And now I'm just like, ooh boy, I'm glad I never got that horse. Gold chip, yep. And the horse that threw races when he felt like it. And pretty iconic behavior, based off of what I know. Funniest one is Tobian and best horse for Pacific. You Mikey man, which is like Varena. He was to yeah. Didn't he get in last place? I started wanting to intimidate the horse next time, which made him have a late start and lose a race. Oh, billion yen loss, jeez. That's so much. Oh, hi kitty. Racehorses after a time is even more livelier. Truly an idol, an icon, someone that we can aspire to emulate. This is my year of the fire horse. I will channel Golden Ship. I will do that. When I had my birth chart read, the guy was like, yeah, you're about to hit your domestic cat era. Or we, because we're only 6 months apart. It's like, we're about to hit our domestic cat era, and I'm like, please, where you just do what you want. I would love that, thank you, actually. Let's go. So maybe this is my gold ship era instead of just domestic cat era. Aliens. Yeah, I know which one she is, but I never was able to quite parse together the game, so I stopped getting updates. I, for one, was just like, why are they only horse girls? These are basically, give me horse boys. Trying to factor this in, it's not crazy enough compared to the horse. Gold ship will be my patron saint of the year of the fire horse. And I mean, once Uranus goes into Gemini, right, that's supposed to be for all of us with prominent Gemini placements, so you and me, Sen, are supposed to be going kinda off the rails in a good way. Finally stepping into my role as a chaos gremlin or something. I don't know. It would be nice. I was just on the tile. I'm kind of going in and adding a little more detail, but like with ink, since it's having a time. How do we feel about that? It's a little blurry on here. I can take a picture and show it later, but... For the year of the fire horse, we'll each go through all of the like Uma Musume horses and choose our patron saint. Dibs gold ship.
It's gonna be gold ship, don't worry about it.
In the gold ship way? Yeah, kind of. As far as the Gemini thing goes. Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, but Aquarius and Gemini have a lot of similarities. So, yeah, if Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury, Mercury's already a bit of a trickster. Like, yeah. Chaos, gold ship, gremlin era for the next 7 years.
Gremlin era!
I'm so excited. I really am just waiting for the day when I wake up and I just do not care anymore.
You're supposed to come in.
It's eased up a lot. Like, I've gotten a lot calmer about expressing myself. I do not police myself nearly to the degree that I used to, but... Golly. The lore application of the Musume are very fascinating because there's no actual horses in the rules. That implies that a lot of wars in history were horse girls dominating everything. Yeah. Yeah, I've thought about that. For me, it's the what if they break their ankles? The girls. Hello?
I don't think that there's glue factories in
Uma Musume glue factories. But like, how does cavalry work? Doji, how does cavalry work? If we're just talking about lore implications, like... I need to know. Gentle Dinah is my patron horse, not to mention that she was a mare that was always really strong to the point where she was always on top because she could just push up. I mean, that's pretty good too. Especially with a name like Gentle, like, I love that contrast. They're just charged in full arm. Yeah, but like, is it just the horse then in the cavalry, or do they still have quote-unquote drivers? That's what I'm wondering. Like, do they have a saddle, and do they like piggyback ride carry all of the people with the, like, that's where I get confused. Because like, if they don't, right, like, what is the implication of like, if this person doesn't ride gloriously into battle, then they don't die, or whatever. Like, just pick some random person in history that like died gloriously in battle on horseback. They are by themselves. Yeah, but that alters all of history, right? Because you have these generals and stuff that aren't dying gloriously in battle or something, right? Right? I don't know. That's where I get a little bit confused. Been looking at buying like some professional grade watercolors since I've been doing this. They're expensive to import down here though. I mean, I guess I could possibly see about buying them internationally and waiving the extra tax on the import tax on it, but I have a friend going to the UK in June, so I might just ask her to go look and grab me something. Make Uma Musume really much on the top of the echelon with emperors and kings wanting to have them as wives. Yeah, exactly. So, like, per this kind of lore, Caligula would have been perfectly right in his right mind when he wanted to make his horse his general. And I also feel like that would, like, with those warriors we know are now horse girls in this year, I want to make an alternate history. That's so much. I just feel like that might have, like, I don't know, we might not have seen patriarchy get nearly as toxic as it has because of this. I don't know. There's a lot to unpack with all of this. That's too bright of a yellow. This is my Uma Musume fan world. That already exists, I'm sure. There's just so many, it's so much to think about. That's so discordant. That it does kind of just leave me a little baffled to try to think about it and comprehend what the implications of that would be. I only know in the universe what Japan's really like, but not the rest of the world. Yeah. And like, by that token too, right? Like, who had a really good horse but a really bad general? Like, would that have changed like the entire outcome of the war? Like, if we think about that from that angle, like, man, horse wives, horse generals, horses. There's so much to unpack from this. All because people wanted to encourage horse race better. At what cost? The only change we had for a long time from the revolt was that the Irish kingdom was still around because the horses were considered royalty. Yep. Imagine the Mongols having a horse girl archers that could run and shoot at the same time. Man, the elves wish. Tolkien's elves only wish. Also, like, if they're this cool, right? Like, would they have ever been tamed? Like, I just can't imagine that if they were this strong and this capable, like, why would they be willing to be tamed? Horse-dominated society.
I mean, are they tamed or are they just...
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're people, but like, you would, I don't know, something about the domestication of the horse. What is it, like a peace treaty? They're humanoid, they cannot live on their own. No male horses, so they rely on humans to keep up the number. I mean, they could, or they could be like those lizards that asexually reproduce, right? Like, there's a species of lizards that are all female. Just, I think, breed clones of each other? I don't know. Also, like, the implications of that, too. Like, I don't know. Something about horse girls are deeply unsettling to me. Game Lawyer's not saying that. I know they're not saying that, but... It's just a lot to unpack. Tiles, how are they feeling? Tiles behind me? Good? Bad? Getting more, leaving too much to the imagination. Very interesting, kind of problematic. Most of the good things are. Yeah. Tiles look good, thank you. Alright. I'll leave them alone for a little bit. I still need to do a little bit of work on them, but... I'm gonna make our fella pink. And we'll go for some watermelon vibes. Give them some green face. My Tetris World fan character here. Yeah. Shading on some, but otherwise look very much like actual. Yeah, they still need some shading and a little bit of help here and there, but starting to dream in tiles. Yellow eye. eyes for a little bit of jaundice. Maybe the next time I play Tetris Effect, I should make a message on the Discord board and see if anybody cares to join me. Can anybody play Tetris with me? We're getting there. He's nearing completion. He's just not quite there yet. Oh, wee. Big strip. Also funny implications in general. Gentildon at one point in the story squeezes a lifting weight into a small ball. Only so the amount of energy that it would detail is basically equivalent of a nuke. Good lord. That's so much. I don't know. I feel like with Uma Musume, it's like I have to just embrace the absurdity. And for some reason, there are some aspects to the absurdity that I need to embrace with that I just really struggle with. But Gold Ship can be my patron horse for the Year of the Fire Horse. Do what I want when I want to? Heck yeah, let's go. It's insanely stupid. Sculpting statues of solid rock with their bare hands. That's too much, man. No, yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. Hey, buddy. Yeah, I've seen that there was a lot of, I think Briar showed me some of the stuff you were showing her about, like, the comparison to actual horse races and such. I think part of it too is that I just kind of struggle with idols in general, so it's like a horse and idol crossover, and my brain is like, I'm good, thanks, actually. Hello, Kitty and friends. Hello, Nick. Welcome in. We've already talked about the stars, but this week is a very big week. The Lunar New Year is happening on the same day as a new moon eclipse, so look for big changes. There is a big conjunction happening on Friday. So 2 spaces that might have a lot of really big impact. Right now I am working on what will be my picture for when I'm coming online and getting ready. It'll say coffee's brewing up here. And I'm working on some finishing touches, and this little fella right here is we were talking about a Tetris game from like 2003, a little while ago. Yes, it's fine, we're just kind of talking. Nobody kept you in check, you're fine, you're fine. I need to finish this, so it's been nice to have the distraction. And if y'all aren't asking me questions about the stars, we can talk about really anything. It's Astrology Tap Plus, right? So. talking about horse girls and the like historical implications that some of them have, and that's how it can get deeply uncomfortable if you think about it too hard, but if you just kind of roll with it, it turns fun. Big strong moon, I do a decision to make. Yeah. There is a new moon solar eclipse on the 17th. There's a new moon solar eclipse on the 17th. It will only really be visible in Antarctica, but it should affect a lot of people. Big decision. You might realize that something has to give, or you might already know that something has to give and be willing to work towards it. It's also the Lunar New Year. Year of the Fire Horse. And we as a group decided that yes, the Year of the Fire Horse does mean work towards your goals, but also horses have notoriously bad ankles, so don't just run blindly. Have a plan that you can execute. Decide where to apply that strength and that energy. And every now and again someone will come in and try to ask me a tarot question. I'll be like, you have to come back on Monday for that. We're talking about stars now. We were also talking about for the Twitch games that Miss May does, I ordered us a card that should make the reception a little bit better between my computer and hers. And so that should help clear up some of the lag. And with the lag getting cleared up, they should get a lot more watchable, and I was asking folks if they might want to watch me play Tetris and other cozy games in the meantimes, in between things. Two women must have know the real history of horse racing in our world, and they know about horses and how the other races will go. Oh, so these are like the... Are they like Cassandra's, basically? Horse racing, I was telling most of it. Yes, Sephiroth is my favorite. No, it's the Year of the Fire Horse, so Doji started talking about Uma Musume, which is fine, because we've all been picking our patron saint racehorses for the Year of the Fire Horse. I've decided that the chaotic one is the way for me to go, so I'm picking Gold Ship. Feel free to go through and pick a favorite horse girl. Also, this week, Nick, for you specifically, there was something that I saw that made me think of you. Let me find where it is in my notes. 3 pages of notes. Hang on 1 second. Oh, okay. So between the 13th, which is already passed, so Friday, and the 20th, there's a good window for intuitive downloads and meditation and such. So maybe you should try, if you haven't been already, try talking to folks. You might get some information you didn't already have. Stay Gold, the terrorist of the racehorse, which is also Goldship's father. I'm thinking. I think the genetics might be strong in those two. Then, if his dad is known as the terrorist of the race, horse races, like races, I feel like something genetics might be strong. If Goldship is crazy, also. What day, kitty? You missed it. No, you didn't miss anything. It is from the 13th, so last Friday, to until the 20th, until this week. It is Mercury trining Jupiter retrograde. And then right after that, we have on Sunday, Venus will start to trine Jupiter retrograde. But yeah, from the 13th to the 20th, let me go see what my cat is getting into. Don't knock over, buddy. I need you to not. Have you considered not? Okay. So, from the 13th to the 20th, it's good for intuition work and any rituals and such. And then after that, Venus is doing the same thing with Jupiter, and I assume that that could just also lead up to some more of the same. If you hear a clatter in the background, my cat has decided that it is time to knock something over, and I have tried to dissuade him from it, but we will see. Usually when I, of all people, get cold, it's usually Hecate trying to say hi. I would think it was a touch bear. She would be warmer. Torch bear. Well, maybe you just have to ask her to hold the fire a little bit closer. Not on you, but like closer. The cat craves entertainment. He does. He really does. He's fine. He's not really causing it. Just if you hear a clatter, he is playing with a box. He hasn't knocked it over yet, but that doesn't mean he won't. He's doing his best. He's a very good boy. He's not even 2 yet. He's so well behaved. And I'm glad sometimes, honestly, when he gets into things. But right now, of all times, he's off. Off to the races. And by races, I mean to another room. Papa is being far too boring. We have the 5. So, does anybody know what they need to be working on for their year of the fire horse? What are we working towards responsibly? I'll have to share with the Catalans, I'm just wondering. Curious to see how it's showing up in other people's lives, and if it's a welcome change, or if you're like, oh no. Eye on the box here? Yes, I would love to explain him. There was, so we were talking earlier, so we had a, Miss May and I did a Cult of the Lamb live stream yesterday, and honestly, it was kind of bad because the reception, the connection between my computer and hers just was not cooperating. So the resolution was really, really bad. So I went ahead, and her Valentine's gift from me was I bought a video capture card for the computers, and that will enable the two screens to talk to each other. The main computer, so her streaming computer, will be able to see my computer stream, and it will not rely on a wireless connection. It will be a hardwired connection, so it should get a lot better. So, this right here was me going, I wonder if people would want to watch me play Tetris. Tetris is one of my favorite games, and I will admit to being quite good at it. And there was a game from the Xbox original that was called Tetris Worlds, and you made yourself one of these little fellas, one of these little cubes to the Tetris piece, and he was your character as you went and you terraformed other worlds. So we were just talking about Tetris, and I was like, hey, would people watch me? And then I was just reminiscing on this game that I used to play. And I wanted to get an emulator for a long time so that I could go back and play it again and see if I could actually finish terraforming the worlds, because I was like 10 or 11, so I always gave up way too early. But I feel like I owe it to the poor fellas. But if I went back now, I'd probably like play Tetris Effect or something, just something easier unless I figured out the emulator thing. It just seems like a lot of work. So that is the eye on the box. He was the little character that you like designed yourself for the Tetris Worlds game. And yeah, it was on the Xbox original. And there is a video on YouTube by Video Game Donkey talking about the history of Tetris and all of its different iterations. Tetris... No, this one in particular had lore. Most of the other Tetrises do not, but Tetris World specifically had lore, and what it was is that you were a little fella here, and your planet was dying, so your little committee of these fellas were like sending out, what are they called? Like space missions to go and pick different types of worlds to colonize. And so you'd play the Tetris game and eventually build the world. But I was only like 11 or 12 when I had this game, so I would never finish it. But no, most other Tetris games do not have that kind of lore. This one was an oddball, and it kind of gets made fun of for it, but it is near and dear to my heart, even still. But yeah, it was a wild ride. Why did Tetris have lore, even at all? So yeah, I was thinking, once we get the capture card, maybe I can make my own little sub-channel on Twitch or something, and either play Tetris and other cozy games on my own, or have people come play with me, or things like that. Yeah, definitely. No, I've done that kind of thing before. It's just work to find all of it and such. I can do it though. But I was gonna start with Effect and see if I could get folks interested at all. But when I play video games, I tend to go for the easy cozy games, like Animal Crossing or Stardew Valley or stuff, or I like the older vintage things, like Tetris. My mom used to play Tetris all the time when I was younger, and so if I wanted to play games with her, I had to be good at Tetris. Yeah, Tetris is not supposed to have lore. This one is an oddball out. But he had eyes, and this was Tetris World. And each world had a different facet to it, like a different catch. And so my favorite was the water world, where you would have your board that you played, and when you made a hole, like you had a hole in the board, right? Like if you couldn't fit a piece in perfectly and stuff, you would complete a line above it and it would ripple. And if there was something that could, like a square that could fall into that hole, it would fill it in. So you would get extra points off of these. They were called cascades. And the longer you could keep the cascade going, the more points you would rake up. And it was really fun to just make a mess of a board and just have one line and have it just keep cascading extra Tetris lines for like 10 or 15 more lines. Easy game, any game you get to play spiritual. More here, I'm on Dante Must Die. I think it is for PC as well. Something like, oh, okay. Oh, maybe it does. Uh-oh. Tetris World, Windows 2001, wow. Golden Sun for the Game Boy Advance. I really struggle with turn-based. I get too... I could do Pokemon. I really liked Pokemon. My first one was Crystal. A kid who had a huge crush on me let me borrow his copy. And I really liked his copy, or I really liked Crystal. That one was near and dear to my heart. And then I got into Ruby and Sapphire after that, but I never really... If I played them when I was younger, they were fine. I liked Final Fantasy IV too, because they did a remake that they put out on the Game Boy Advance, and I really like Final Fantasy IV. And that was how I discovered Yoshitaka Amano's art. And he's a huge source of inspiration for me. But after about... I don't know, I guess I was 13 or 14, I realized that I really struggle with turn-based. Which sucks because I want to play Expedition 33 very badly, but it is turn-based, and I'm like, I don't think I can do that. So we watched a Let's Play of it instead, and I feel like I got the whole story, and it's good, but something. I know it counts, but it doesn't quite feel like it. But also, like, if I do that, then I can do other things while I am watching the game. So that helps me with the wasting my time panic. And I know it's not wasting my time, it's a good story, but... Latest Digimon game, I have yet to play it, but I have it there waiting for me. There was a Yu-Gi-Oh game, I can't remember which one, because there was like 2 or 3. There was a Yu-Gi-Oh game that came out on the Advance, and I got my hands on a copy of it, and I got so good at Yu-Gi-Oh for a good minute there. And I would love to go back and play that again. I have an emulator on my phone for Game Boy Advance and Game Boy. And so I was going back and playing, or Game Boy Color. So I was going back and playing Crystal on my phone while I was on the bus and stuff, and it was great. Cecil is my man. I think it's just different styles of game. One word's Twitch reactions, the other word's playing both. Both is good. Fair. Yeah, definitely fair. Yeah, I loved 4 a lot. Couldn't get into Expedition. I was turn-based sick. Time period block, yeah. Don't play turn-based games to have reactions, yeah. The story behind it is really good. I really like the story. Doji got me and Briar into at least watching a playthrough of it. So the story is really good, but yeah, I could see how that would be difficult. If you were expecting turn-based and then you got this medley of the both. But no, I really liked the plot behind it. It was a very good plot, and like one of the more original ones that I've seen in a long time. And it swept as like Game of the Year and stuff, which it really deserved, like just based off of story and stuff. So I did appreciate it for that, but it feels like it's playing to a big weakness of mine of, oh, you want me to sit still and also react like you're saying, Nick. It's just too much. Now, I could go back and, like, play it if I decided to play it for myself. I could go and, like, play it on, like, storytelling mode, but that just seems silly. But we do. May and I do Cult of the Lamb, and that's technically a dungeon crawler, so I guess if I had to pick, yeah, if I did that, I'd do Castlevania roguelike kind of things. Your Digimon's apparently sick, better than Pokemon Z, at least not a high bar. On the lower difficulty, yeah. But then it just feels silly, like I'm not really, and I know that this is the trap, right? It feels like I'm not actually playing the game or something. And I know that that's not the case. Something, I just feel like a noob. But yeah, instead of turn-based, I tended to, when I hit like that point in my big brain rewire when turn-based couldn't do it for me, I was also getting into Castlevania, so platformers and things where I fight fellas without there being a turn. I just have to go first. Right. That one. I got my hands on an emulator and played Symphony of the Night, and that was basically that. That's a really good hunt. Yeah, I could see that, definitely. I could definitely scratch both itches. For me, mostly, I get Elden Ring, Dark Souls. Yeah, I don't know if I could do. I don't know. I get very paranoid about spending my time on certain things. Like, I get scared of losing too much time to something. And I know enjoying a good story is not time wasted, but I don't know, I've spent so long that, or, you know, having a regular day job that eats up so much of my time that it feels like the time that I do have I need to spend creating, not just consuming, and I've been, like, really wrestling with that. So I'm hoping with the upcoming break that I have that I did not necessarily volunteer for, but I have coming anyway. I'm hoping that I can balance some kind of, like, creation versus consumption thing, because it would be nice to, like, consume some media and maybe, you know, get some nice inspiration from something that I hadn't considered before. But I'll have things like YouTube going on in the background while I'm doing something, so that tends to be why I err towards, like, Let's Plays and stuff instead of playing it myself, because I'm like, that's 30 hours that I could have spent working on a watercolor or something to that effect. They aren't strategy. I enjoy casually playing strategy games, but higher difficulty ones are Total War, not my style. Yeah, no, that's fair. No, I either like goofy little like I'm also big into Katamari. Like, love Katamari. Just as kind of like a way to unplug and reset the brain and stuff. So Katamari and Tetris and Pac-Man are really good for that. But then I also, yeah, I like Castlevania. I really liked Soul Calibur when I was little. So playing Cult of the Lamb with Miss May is pretty fun. Because it's like some kind of combination of the two, right? A little bit. Not hugely, but I don't know, it's soft mode Dark Souls, I guess, but it's easier because it's flat and I don't have to deal with the third dimension space to process where what is to attack. Strategy, I think it's, I don't know, 1404. Oh, that sounds like a strategy thing. I don't know if that is that kind of like Civ-like capitalism. You need resumes for volunteering. For real? What? Where are you submitting a resume to volunteer? Into fighting games, we could play something sometimes. I have no idea. Know people that you can play fighting games. I will be absolutely awfully rusty, but I got real big into Soul Caliburs 2 and 3 back in the day. And I will warn you before you offer that I was absolutely a button masher. I did not do combos. I just threw myself into the thing, and the only stat in this household we care about is getting our enemies' HP to 0. Have you seen that text meme about Pokemon? Because that is how I play these kinds of games. Now, I can strategize a little bit more on things like Cult of the Lamb and Castlevania, but those aren't quite the same. But I know that a button masher is a divisive type of fighting game player, so I wanted to give you that warning first before you offer. Little squares on the body. Now what I am constantly on the look for, and I have one, are people that I can play Tetris with. And we keep coming back to old Tetris, right? But I have like 1 or 2 friends that I can play Tetris with, but like only one that can like keep up with me. So I really just need some Tetris friends too. But yeah, I would play a fighting game with you. You just have to like, might have to give me a minute to like get back into the swing of it a bit. City builder, you advance through different stages from puzzles and citizens. Each have their needs, you and make connotations and everything. Hello, fellow button masher. Yeah. I just know that that is a very divisive gameplay strategy, so. Just wanted to give you the heads up. For jab, jab is good, yep. Exactly, you get it. The Pokemon games got way too complicated for me after Ruby and Sapphire, because they were like, here's this thing that you can do to get the strategy, to get the defense, and then these are their super I'm like, no, I just need to knock this guy's HP down. I don't need all of this. This is too much, so I had to stop after a while. I don't care about the defense, I just need to know about how to attack this thing. People... I made people mad in Dragon Ball FighterZ by using Freezer's tails. Yep, who cares? Just go. The only stat we care about in this household is getting our enemy's HP to 0. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. It's a good way to vent some stress out. It's really funny how, like, it's kind of impacted gameplay nowadays, now that I learned on those games. I've noticed for things like Cult of the Lamb, I'm sure you've heard me talking about it while we were playing, like, I hate the heavy, slow weapons. I need the fast ones that you have to get like way up into people, like all up in their business to do any damage, but then you roll away really quick to get out from under them. And that is because my favorite character to play in Soul Calibur 2 was Talon. And she has 2 very short daggers that they're called Tonfa, and you hang on to them and you rotate them around to do damage, and they go down your elbow, but they're very short range attack. And that is how I learned to fight. So if you give me these slow, heavy weapons that are like great for long distance, but they're just too slow, I can't go fast enough to do any damage because they end up hurting me, and I can't strategize that way. Faster free. Oh, that's cool. But so when we play Cult of the Lamb, Miss May is not very big into the like daggers and stuff, but ooh boy, I am. You give me a dagger, you give me a sword, I have to get up in there and then I can just roll away. Great. It's just really funny how that's like lingered over the years. It's just the silly things you don't expect. And then when I was learning historical fencing for a while, I did prefer the shorter swords again for the same reason. And then it just applied in real life instead of just on a video game. Being off as Doom 2016 is the only shooter I like. Do they? You'll have to... I want a little more story than what Doom has to offer, but... It'd be nice to be rewarded for running in blindly, instead of, well, I need... My base strength stat is this, so I need to eat this thing to do this, that, and the other. That's too much. That's too much. That's too much. When I am walking into a Pokemon game, I am walking into it with my 9-year-old self, and that 9-year-old child does not have the patience to learn all of that. I want to be a big stick. Fellow stabby main. I don't want to be a fan of the big stick. That's parry and shield felt really. Yeah, I would do. When I played Soul Calibur 2, I would do a couple of the big stick stabbies, but they were really hard. And once you like get your initial once they break your line of defense, it is really like once they get up under your stick's range, like it is really hard to like get them out of it, and that was always a struggle. Whereas with the shorter weapons people, it was like, cool, that is my goal, is to get under you, right? So it was really hard to wear the shoe on the other foot. Nightmare and Soul Calibur, oh my gosh. Yeah. I tried. I wanted to. I thought it was really cool. But he was so slow. He was so slow. Personally, I cannot do bows in any game. That's fair. Bows are hard. I did surprise myself with Cult of the Lamb because I'm pretty decent at the guns once I got the hang of it. But the thing with the guns in Cult of the Lamb is that it requires a lot of rolling and you still have to be fast. And the closer you get in range, the more damage they do. So I guess it kind of checks out still, but it's like just a strange area to be in when daggers are my other favorite. Mange Nightmare. Yeah, I did tell him, and then in Soul Calibur 3 I liked the girl with the hula hoop blade. I can't remember what her name was. What was her name? I don't know. But basically, things that I should have realized earlier, I loved Callum. She's so cute. There's a lot of signs that I missed about my being in their hitbox when. Exactly, yeah. But yeah, I wanted to do Nightmare, and I wanted to do Astaroth, and I wanted to do, you know, the big hammer wielding crazies, and I tried, and every time, even just on normal, I would have, like, normal difficulty, I would have my butt absolutely handed to me. Versus Talib, I'm just, like, button mashing and running in and out and running in and out and tearing up and taking names, basically. I think I'm going to try to have this guy done by the end of the week. And then when Miss May has time, I think she wants to animate it a little bit, like how she has her little fella animated. Soul Calibur 6? We're up to 6? Good lord. Is Talum still there? My girl still there? I don't know if I can play it without my honey. Making your own characters is fun. Maybe, but I don't know. I don't know. I guess it's fun. But that's not what I'm walking into Soul Calibur for, I think. So it's just like, I just want to play Talon. Main the guy that Tana for all of one day. His lunge and vertical. Oh yeah, that one. I remember him. He was quite funny. I would do their storylines, like I wanted to like be a bit of a completionist for it because I was the only one playing for myself, right? I liked Talim, and then I was good at Cassandra because she had the short little dagger and the shield, right? But past that, it was hit or miss. What I really wanted to do, because he just cracked me up. Talim is still there? Good. That's my girl. That right there, she's my girl. But what I really wanted to do was get good at Valdo, just because he scared everybody. He's insane looking. With the backwards, the contortion, right? That always looks like fun. But I never quite got the hang of it, even though it is a fairly short range weapon. I wonder if I could do it now as an adult, but... Trying to remember who the special character we had for the Xbox was. I know that the PlayStation 2 had Link. So that was weird when I got a copy for my PlayStation 2. It's in storage still, but I have a copy for PlayStation 2 and it's like, here's Link! And I'm like, why? Works for mashing. Yeah, he works well for mashing. It's just you gotta have quick fingers for the mashing. More played Sub-Zero, Katana, the blind telekinesis guy. Ah, yeah. I never quite got into Mortal Kombat or Tekken so much, but I do appreciate the memes, and it looks like something that I would enjoy nowadays. Anyway, I think I'm gonna try to finish him this week, because I'm so close, right? Like, there's still some that I can do, but I'm getting near towards an end. Need to go up here and make this match that. I wonder if I should work on that right now. No, because I need to erase the little note that I have for myself and my eraser's in the other room. Ah! Could also do, I guess if we're just having fun little game things with me, probably some 2-player Katamari. If anyone wants to roll anything up with me, roll the world up. Theoretically, I should have some free time next month. I'd like to see about setting some stuff up. Positioning plays a really big role and very precise. Yes. Sleepy kitty waiting on the coffee. Exactly. So this is gonna be... So you know, Nick, have you ever been at the very start of one of the streams? Miss May has a thing of like, stream starting soon. And this is gonna be my equivalent, right? And Miss May wants to like animate it on the computer and make it look like I'm breathing and stuff while I'm waiting on the coffee to boil. And maybe we'll add like some steam effects or something. But I wanted to do that, and then I'd have I think they're called stingers, I could be wrong. And then I wanted to do one closing after that, where like it's just like the coffee cup sitting empty kind of thing. I just played it on my buddy's console. I don't have much interest in those games either. Played Blaze Blue a lot. I'm way too used to anime fighting games to... Yeah, exactly. There was, when I was on my study abroad in Tokyo, there was a Persona game that was a fighting game that I got really into with my friends for a while. I didn't play it as like the story-based mode or anything. I literally just went and wanted to beat the crap out of people. And that was my only goal, and I can't remember which one that was. Sleepy kitty stress eating. Yes, that's this week. 20 pizzas? What? Sleepy kitty do be stress eating this week. Oh boy, we got a lot going on. So. It's a mess. Stress eating, stress tetrising, Persona 4 Area Ultimax, that's on Steam. I think that might have been it. I don't remember. We would just go to the arcades, and it was whichever one was on the arcade machine. There was also a rhythm game that I really liked that was like... And I could never find it after I went, right? And I never paid attention to the name because I took it for granted at the time. But it was like this board that looked like a keyboard, but they were all just blank, like pretty semi-transparent clear keys, and it would light up which one it wanted you to hit, and that was the way that you played the rhythm game. And it was just very pretty. You'd make very pretty hand movements during it. 20 pizzas and counting. Who owes what 20 pizzas? Sen, why are we counting pizzas? When is the pizza party? Am I invited? How are you gonna get me to? Stress Tetris sounds like a vibe. Yes, there is scientific proof, Nick. If you ever in a very stressful situation that might really bother you later, play Tetris. Whatever it does with the way that it uses your brain is so different from the way that you're emotionally processing. It like helps you compartmentalize it. So it's like really good for like things that might cause a PTSD reaction. So anytime I get like really, really bothered by something, I will just find the time to play a little bit of a game of Tetris, and then it stops bothering me. Like, I remember it as being distressing, right? But it doesn't like latch into my brain, it doesn't cycle through. Because I'm really bad at like ruminating and getting stuck on things. And having things like jump back into my mind at the worst time, so Tetris has really helped me for that. Bad time. Well, why are we talking about pizza parties? I'm so confused. Also, like, if we do have said pizza party, how are y'all gonna get me to Europe? 1. And then 2, or how am me and Miss May gonna get to Europe to have said pizza party? And 2, which country? Because y'all are all in different countries. Do we go to Italy and have, like, classic, like, peak pizzas, or do y'all have like a really fancy, like famous trash version in one of these countries? I am not in my thoughts like really good stoic wisdom. Yeah, I get stuck. I get stuck in my head so hard. So the Tetris to like pull me out and like force me to meditate and focus on something else is really, really helpful. Maybe it is helping me apply that stoic wisdom, right? Pizza stress eating party. Heck yeah, let's go. I'm down. Just tell me when and where. Maybe we'll have like a movie night or something on the Discord and we'll all order pizza and eat it all together. I would go to, honestly, did not enjoy it. That's what I've heard, is that Italian pizza isn't everything that it's cracked up to be. I had a friend I worked with, he was from London, and he told me that the best pizza that he ever had was in New York. Which is fine, I believe him, right, for the diaspora, but like, I don't know, just, I feel like I ought to have it once just to understand the experience, right? And then after that, I can go from there. But I personally, like, I enjoy the very divisive Chicago deep dish pizza. It will absolutely destroy everything inside of you on the way after you eat it, but it is so worth it. I would go to Italy for its pasta. I would go to Italy for the excuse to going to Italy, so like that sounds great. Let's go, right? Did anybody who's gone to Italy have a cannoli from Italy? Because my favorite cannoli was from Boston, and they also have a big Italian diaspora. And I really want a cannoli also. It's the necessary, yeah, I feel like it's a rite of passage, right? And then you have it and you go, oh, actually, I like pizza better somewhere else, right? But then you know. Versus just sitting here wondering. Honestly, the pizza you get here is like, yes, there's pizza in this grease. I didn't like it either. It's really funny. Here at home, I have, you know, the standard US pizzas the way that I know them, but here it's like we're in Uruguay, and here it is like, instead of yes, there is pizza in this grease, it is yes, there is pizza in this cheese, which is great. Like, I'm fine with that. Just ruin me with cheese, but it's just very funny how unabashedly addicted to cheese everybody is down here. In Italy, it's a lot of weird things to do with the lack of spices, because traditional pizza do not have that because the Ottomans banned Europe from the spice trade. Yeah, that makes sense. I could see it. I need the novel disappointment, though. I have acclimated to the European lack of spice from living down here for a year and some change now. Like, I still want to try. I was gonna try to go to Europe this year, but that's okay. I don't get to, probably. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe. I might surprise myself. But I'd really like to go to, like... There's a lot of reasons I want to go to Italy, but I guess a few months ago I was watching... They have, and I sent them to Sen, but they have, like, walking tours that someone does on his GoPro. And it's gorgeous, and there's something about the places where, like, the ancient and the new coexist like that. That, like, I was literally crying watching it. It was so stunning. So I'd really like to go for that, and just, like, places that still have old stuff existent, right? Because in America, or at least in the US, because with what they did to the indigenous people, there's not a whole lot that old left, because they didn't allow it to be, so I don't have that kind of a connection to history here. Spice was contraband at some point, the heck why? Because it was expensive. I also like to add pretty weird stuff. Friend ordered pizza with boiled eggs on it once by accident. They have boiled egg pizzas down here. It is weird. They'll put French fries, chips, whatever you want to call them, on the pizzas down here. Italians act like you insulted their whole family line if you change their Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, they're proud of things. Like, they have a reason to be proud of things. They've inspired, like, at least culinary, like, they've inspired a lot of really good things, so I can see why. But yeah, I feel like the French and the Italians, with their food, kind of may have, right? Because I've experienced neither, but I've heard tale that they are very proud of their food to a fault. Cannoli was just meh. Oh, that's a bummer. That's a bummer. Yeah, they like the boiled egg thing down here too, but the diaspora from Italy down here is much more new than the diaspora in Italy from into the US. Bit like French. Yes, I assumed. I have no interest in going to Paris, but I'd like to see the, like, outsides of France stuff. It seems like they would be a little bit kinder there, but I don't know. Nowadays, they can be made everywhere, but at the time, spices were extremely rare and thus extremely expensive. Yeah, definitely. And then, like, if you're afraid to change the recipe, you're afraid to add it and such, right? So, my friend from London said the best food that he had is from America, or the US, and I think that's just because, you know, all of the diasporas had to learn to work with what there was, and as a result, the recipes were forced to be changed, they were forced to be updated, you were forced to figure out how to use the spices. So it makes sense, but I still want to experience the way that I need to experience the disappointment. Only the elite had them mixed in. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What do we think? Okay, so a little bit more shading on the tiles. I did add a back shadow doji. Is there anything like obvious else jumping out at you that I need to like make a note of that I can go back? I need to finish this. This is just gonna be more shelves. I might go back and fix this line a little bit. I don't know. Coffee is good though. Yes. And pasta. Oh, in Italy? Yeah. The coffee brand that I get down here is Italian, since I can't get the Cuban stuff that I like from when I was in the US. Pasta. Okay. I assume their cheese is good too. Right? Right? Like, there's bound to be food that I would enjoy eating in Italy. Like, it can't all be bad. It inspired entirely too much good in this world. I know I need to finish learning Spanish down here so I can go to Spain and just sound like insane compared to the Spanish accent. Spanish accent. I grew up with the Mexican Spanish accent, or hearing it, and so the accent down here is weird to me too. Really didn't get into cheese there, but probably. Yeah, at the time, Miss May went to Europe. She was doing vegetarian stuff, and so they would just give her some greens and a huge ball of mozzarella, and that was like the vegetarian option. And she said that it was not what she wanted every day, but it was very good. Outside of line, nothing much that I can see. Maybe more shadows on the tile to determine their texture, but otherwise it is looking good. Okay. I'm having a hard time bringing out... I have some watercolor pencils. I'm having a hard time bringing out, so I want there to be a little bit of highlight. But since it's already been grayed over, it's hard to pull the white there, so I'm wondering if I need to go back with, like, cheat with a little bit of acrylic. Or if I need to just go at it with a pencil, or if I can just leave it alone. But I don't know. Mine, nothing. Let's see, maybe more shadows. Okay, but yeah, that's good. That's a relief. I need to add some line to the coffee here. I need to add a little more definition to the spoon. But I wish I could help Kitty where I am. Yep, that's a picture. Yay! Hey, I like that too. I like that too. Don't worry about it, Nick. If that's a picture, yay, and not that's a picture, ugh. Like, I'll take it. Shadow of the Cat is really good though. I love that a lot. Thank you. Yeah, since I've been getting back into painting, I think we've talked about this a little bit. I've been like really wanting to play with colors and the way that colors impact the shadow behind them, kind of thing, like how the light plays off of each other. I haven't gotten nearly as in-depth to it as I want to yet, but it was that and fabric wrinkles. I really want to work on that too. So that's where we're at. Let's see. Did I show you the completed this, Nick? This is the picture that I've been using for my icon and stuff. This was the painting. This is what got me into making a art journal at all anymore. It was this one. And I looked at it and I went, you know what? Actually, I'm decent at this. I'm allowed to let people know I do art. It is permitted. I don't have to keep that light under the bushel. Oops. Oh. Alrighty, my darlings. We are at 1:15 here. We have gone for 3 hours and some change. Thank you! I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I was pretty proud of it. I'm about to be in a position, if you know any art themes, where I can also do commissions, so, but otherwise, I appreciate it. That is really good. I have a link to my Instagram there, and it is public, so you should just be able to look at the pictures instead of having to have an account. Van Gogh. Yeah, that was where I got... Van Gogh. Yeah. That was where I got the accidental inspiration on the background. I was just like kind of painting, and I looked back and I went, oh, that just looks like, yep, okay. And then I just kind of leaned into it. I think my favorite part though is that I like remembered to use blue as the shading for the brick here because it's all dark. But yeah, no, I finished it and I went, you know, I can let people know I do art. So. Alrighty gang, I'm gonna wrap it up for here then. Holler if you need me, you know where to find me. I'm on the Discord chat. And then you will see me in the lives. We have our usual Monday tarot and art stream. I believe we have our usual Wednesday art stream, but on Friday I think we are calling it unless we just decide to change the time instead. But I think right now Briar's airing towards a break because we've got some government paperwork and stuff to settle out. It should be fine. It's just an appointment that's really hard to get a hold of. So that is where that is at. I will be around if you need me. Feel free to bug me. Let me know how the astrology stuff is hitting everybody. Ciao, Bellas. I will make a write-up for this week here soon, too. So. Alrighty, my dears. I will see you on the other side. Have a fun rest of the day. Yep. And I will talk to you all later. Bye.